Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah if you're new here, and I'm making a very bold statement in this video. And everyone's opinion is subjective, obviously, but in this video I'm going to talk about 6 novellas that I think are perfect. At least perfect to me. I think novellas are super challenging as an author to pull off effectively. You need to utilize the smaller page count to its utmost and really somehow pack a punch that is incredibly hard to achieve with like 200 or less pages. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 6 novellas that I gave 5 out of 5 full stars and thought they were excellent and really utilized the length of the novella to its utmost. The one I'm going to spend probably the least amount of time talking about is a classic, which is Passing by Nella Larsen. I have a whole video dedicated to talking about this classic and as it compares to the, I think it's 2019 video adaptation on Netflix. I really love this novella. This is about 2 women who knew each other, 2 Black women in the Harlem Renaissance who come back into each other's lives. One of them has been living as a Black woman and lives as a Black husband and has Black kids. The other is a Black woman who has been passing as white her whole life and is married to a white man and is trying to, pass as white. And so this is about the relationship between these 2 women. This is truly excellent. This has a lot to say, obviously, about racism in early 1900s America, and I think it's truly excellent. I think by my tabs, you can see I've marked this book up quite a bit, and I think if you like open endings, you're gonna like this as well. But please go check out that video if you're interested in further thoughts. The next book I have to talk about is Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This is a young adult or middle grade young adult dystopian utopian sci-fi about a utopian society where monsters used to exist but have been eradicated. This is about our main character Jam, who is a trans girl, and Jam can see a creature that no one else can see, who appears to be a monster, but monsters shouldn't exist anymore. This is clearly a very critically acclaimed work of young adult or middle grade fiction, and I agree with the majority. I think this really tackles these themes in a way that's really approachable for middle grade and young adult kids. That doesn't mean it's not enjoyable for adult readers. I read this as an adult. I was really moved by this as an adult. I think this is a really powerful work. I think about this work quite a bit. I think this author's writing is impeccable and I highly recommend this one. In the sci-fi genre, we are in the adult sphere now with To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. This is again, a novella about this crew of 4 people who are on a deep mission traveling to 4 different planets, surveying the planets and the creatures on them as possible places for humans to travel to and, escape Earth. They are 17, I think it's 17 years behind Earth in terms of communication, and the Earth is not doing so well. So this is really a quiet, slow-paced sci-fi, contemplative sci-fi about these characters on this mission and kind of ruminating on our place in the cosmos. This is so beautifully written. I wish I had tabs. I want to go back and actually highlight some lines in this work because the writing is truly beautiful and it's kind of like a gut punch. And there's queer characters in here, there's polyamory in here. This little work really gives you a hug and punches you in the gut at the same time, and I, again, highly recommend this one. Another sci-fi novella that we all know and love at this point, but I'm going to talk about it again, and that's This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone. This is about Red and Blue, who are on opposite sides of a gigantic time war, and it's about the two of them writing letters to each other and eventually falling in love. What to say about this? The writing of this work is truly electrifying, gripping, beautiful, maybe purple prosy if that's not your cup of tea, but I truly love this work and the way it's written. It's a romance at its heart. You kind of just have to let the world building wash over you because it happens so quickly. You're not going to get answers to all your world building questions necessarily, but this is truly about these two characters growing to love each other. If you haven't read This Is How You Lose the Time War, I think you can read this in an afternoon, but I would recommend taking my time with it. Take your time with it. Sorry. Truly, I can't say enough good things about this one. In the fantasy sphere, and the newest book I read on this list is actually Spear by Nicola Griffiths. This is an Arthurian legend adjacent retelling. The reason I say it that way is because our main character is not of the original Arthurian characters that we know and love, but those characters do come in and play a role, and the Arthurian legend is playing in the background over here, and our main character's story is over here and touches the Arthurian mythos, if that makes sense. I love this fantasy novella. It is sapphic. Our main character is competent and powerful and kind of eschews gender roles and gender dynamics. She's still a woman, but she gives off very non-binary she-they vibes, if that makes sense. There's a romance in here between her and a witch, which is lovely, and I think the way that this character is woven into that Arthurian legend is truly masterfully done, and brings a fresh perspective and fresh eyes and a fresh take on the Arthurian legend, which I really appreciated. I couldn't put this down. I didn't want to stop reading it, and again, it's a novella length story, and I think it's perfect, personally. The final 5-star novella is one that I've been talking about, but I could definitely talk about more, and that is The Lies of the Ojungo by Moses Ose Utomi. This is a very, very short story. Well, it's not a short story. It is a novella. It's not even 100 pages. It's like 90 pages. Anyway, this is about 90 pages. Very short novella, but boy, does this pack a punch. We are in the forever desert with our main character, Tutu, and his people are dying of thirst. There's a huge drought in his city, and he goes off on an adventure into the forever desert to find water and save his people, but his people are also heavily oppressed, and he is discovering the reasons for that, and his adventure. This reads like a fable. This is a little violent. The scenes of action are gory, I will say, but I think this little story packs so much of a punch. There's themes of the cycles of violence and the oppressors and the oppressed, and how those in power want to stay in power in 90 pages. I love the fantasy elements in this work. I don't want to spoil what those are, but know that they are really interesting and really well executed, and you grow to love some of these side characters really quickly, and our main character as well. This is one of the best fantasy works I've ever read. I just completed the trilogy, and the whole trilogy, each installment is excellent, and the trilogy as a whole is impeccable. These plus Spear by Nicola Griffiths are the 6 novellas that I have given 5 out of 5 stars, the ones that I feel are perfect in their entirety with such a short page count. So if you're looking to read more books, or you're not much of a reader and you want something quick but impactful, I highly recommend these 6 works. I have read so many novellas that I really love that haven't quite reached the point, the pinnacle of, and the moniker of perfect, but are so, so good. So let me know if you want further novella recommendations that are also excellent, but not quite God tier, in my opinion. And also let me know if you have read any of these, or are there other novellas that you have rated 5 out of 5 stars? I would love to know all of that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video of mine very soon. Bye!